Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today, I am doing another little coffee chat, just a few minutes to talk about mostly bookish related things, but just life in general, because that was well received. And I actually enjoy kind of having these dialogues. I enjoy hearing where you're from and what you have going on and what you're doing similar or dissimilar to me. It just makes life a little more fun in our bookish community realm. So what do I want to share? I do want to share this quilt right here. That's always kind of my backdrop. I shared the sheep last time, but the quilt, this was something that I actually made when I was 18 going off to college, and they are different squares from different projects that I did growing up. So they were like Barbie beds, or like this one, the yellow craziness. That was actually a shirt that I made for myself with huge puff sleeves. So you can tell that was the 80s, y'all. And as well as the leopard skin. That was like a big tank top, crazy outfit that I did on all animal prints. It was a fun time to be growing up. And growing up as a little girl in the 70s and then a teen in the 80s. I was born in the right time for my soul and my personality. So how about some other bookish related things? I have something really exciting to me anyway. I hope it is to you. The book Hope in the Face of Cancer. This is a book compiled by Darcie in honor of Can Care. This is an organization that supports those who are going through cancer. I did go through cancer myself and was supported by a Can Care volunteer, and now I volunteer for Can Care and get to support other people who are going through that. So this is a book compiling not only the story of Can Care, but the little short vignettes of those who are survivors, those who are currently fighting, those who are the caregivers, and just giving their reflections of hope. And I'm in the book. It's like Kristen's story. And I love how it says one moment at a time. That was something that they suggested off of what I submitted to them. And my other channel is called Moments of Sanctuary. And so I love that. And then look, there's even a little picture of me, y'all, with the sea turtle. It's like, how fun. It's only 4 pages, okay? I don't want to make it more than it is. I mean, it's a nice big book, and I have 4 pages, but I've got 4 pages, y'all. I'm super excited. That's just really an awesome, fun thing. And so this is available on Amazon. I'll leave the link below. The proceeds of this support the running and organization of Can Care, and this is actually a beautiful gift to give to those who are either caregivers or those who are fighting the fight still. It will, unfortunately, I don't think ever be resolved on this side of the planet. Cancer is just one of those terrible things that is part of the brokenness of this world. But if that is you, hang in there. We are in this together. So I also picked up a few other books recently. Barnes and Noble had their exclusive The Sirens by Emilia Hart, and look at those end pages. I don't have very many books with pretty end pages. I think this is my 3rd. But I haven't even read Wayward yet. Haven't even read it. But I think it's going to be awesome, right? I also had picked up Bob Goff's Everybody Always. I love his book, Love Does. He just is a brilliant kind of modern theologian who just does life, but he also studies the Word of God and puts it together in a really profound, beautiful way. And his philosophy really is to love everybody always, no matter what. And he's miraculous at it. I mean, that's a really hard thing to do. And I did also have an Amazon order where I sometimes add in extra books to get the free shipping because I'm not a Prime member. So S.C. Gwynn's Hymns of the Republic. This is, I think, the going along conclusion of where I finished with Rebel Yell. it wasn't the end of the war. It was following the life of Stonewall Jackson, and he died. So I think this is going to be a great conclusion to that dialogue that was one of my very favorite books of last year. As well as I went ahead and picked up the last one in this series for the Books of Elsewhere, because this was just such a beautiful little middle grade saga, and I have to finish off a series. I mean, I just gotta, I don't know when I'm gonna read it, but I just, put those in my cart to top off my book order. So those are the book hauls that I have. And then finally, I just wanted to talk about one other thing that I've kind of gotten a little obsessive about lately, in a good way. It's not really directly book related either, but it's kind of decorating, adorning. I don't know if you can see, I don't want to show all my mess of all my room, but like over here on my dresser, these little rocks and stones, I'm like starting this one. Let me show you closer. This one is like a little fox reading a book, y'all. He's reading a book. So I had to have them. That's rose quartz. So some nice cleansing energy. I've gotten into these like crystals, right? And I'm like obsessed watching these channels on Facebook and Instagram. I don't do TikTok, but I know they're there too. And then they ship over from China. So I even forget what it is I purchased. But my mom loved to collect owls in the 70s. So this is one of my favorites. This agate geode owl. Isn't he gorgeous? And I'm getting a little crazed. I've got another owl here. This is a bamboo jasper. And he's heavy. He can be a bookend for real. And then my mother loved the Emily Ann Theater that was created because a lovely 16-year-old daughter was killed by a drunk driver. And she was very much into nature and theater, and her parents made a nonprofit foundation with an outdoor beautiful area that hosts theater camps and shows and dramas, and they have a huge butterfly festival every year. And the butterfly release festival will be this weekend, and so that the first one released will be in memory of my mom. And I also had this crystal of the cat with the butterfly I just thought was so beautiful. And I got an amethyst with the calcite clusters for my sister to give to her, just symbolically. And so what I found is that even though they're just pretty rocks, and there's a limitation to things, but there's still a spirit even in rocks, and there's still healing when we when we make things symbolic, right? When we say we're doing something in memory, or we're doing something in honor of somebody, it's not that itself has the magic or the power, but the naming of it and the action of doing something in memory or in honor is powerful. And so I've just been reflecting on this a lot, and also being a little nerdish and obsessive about collecting some of these rocks and stones and crystals, and just reflecting on their meaning and the value that we've assigned to them. But they're part of God's creation, and they've been there for a long, long time. And then to have a craftsman come in and polish and see something, it's just a beautiful process. And it reminds me a lot even of the storytelling of books. I think it makes me reflect on the larger picture of stories, right? We don't always even write them all down. A lot of them are just orally told or shared with one another in passing, and we don't get to keep them for all of posterity, but they're things that live within us and that even become part of our identity. Like, I become she who collects all the crystals of owls and whatever. I know I'm being a little silly about it, but there's just something there that's just really beautiful, and I wanted to share it with y'all. I just wanted to I just figured, if I'm kind of a nerdy book person that is getting into this would be something that I would want someone to share with me. So here it is. I'm sharing it with you. I'll also leave the lives of the crystals in the description if you want to check them out and look them up. It's kind of fun. We're not sure, of course, how it's going to be affected with tariffs and things overseas, but right now it's just been a blessing, and I'm just grateful for it, and I'm just thankful. And I'm thankful for my mom's life and getting ways to continue to honor and celebrate that, and to process my grief and deal with it, and to adjust. I don't think, even though it's now been 6 months since her passing, I think it's still a big process when we have those big losses in our life. And so I just also wanted to affirm for anybody else going through loss, whether it's a job that was beloved, or a relationship, a marriage, a person, maybe they didn't even die, but they're lost to you. It's okay and healthy to grieve and to go through that process. And I mean, in some ways we never get over it, right? We carry that new relationship, that new status quo within us, and their legacy lives in us. And that's a beautiful thing. That is also part of this story and part of this healing. And just whatever it is for you, whether it's books or stories or even little fun crystals, may you find that and just embrace that and accept that and be empowered by that. So that's what I wanted to share with my little time with coffee with you. Leave me a comment below if any of this resonates with you, or if you have any other hobbies that particularly work for you with either the honoring or remembrances of transitions in your life, losses in your life. I would love to know that. Those are the kind of things that I just kind of spend my life using. I get to use those things often in my life. So let's meet in the comments. Hope that you have a beautiful day. Take care, my friends. Happy reading.